Kazakhstan is the ninth largest country in the world. It's located mostly in Central Asia. It is bounded by Russia, China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and has a coastline along the Caspian Sea. On this large land, over the centuries, one tribe was replaced by another: Scythians, Saka, Massaget, Huns, and others. Nowadays, traces and artifacts of ancient tribes are still found. Burial mounds, buried settlements, stone statues. A large number of burial mounds and some tombs of noble leaders and warriors of the Scythian Saka period have been found in Kazakhstan. Kazakhstanis call them the Golden Men.